congratulations, man. It's not you gotta have, man. She's hustling now. There she is, man. Go again. Keep going. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
I'm doing well. All right. Good.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يضله فلا هادي له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجل كثير ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والحم إن لها كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الحديث هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وكل ضلالة في النار. Forgive me, pardon me, inshallah. I was just reflecting on what something just happened, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just blesses us. Alhamdulillah. I just gave the shahada to a sister. Alhamdulillah. And I was just reflecting, alhamdulillah, on the brothers in our community, alhamdulillah. And alhamdulillah. Now, our community is growing. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. So I was reflecting on that when I was giving you the book. And this engaged me. It's a beautiful thing. Alhamdulillah. So inshallah, today, I want to talk about something that many of us don't know. Yet, we are in the practice of it. And you remember some time ago I said, you may know something, but you don't understand what you know. You may know something, but you don't understand what you know. And if you're blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the understanding of it, you may accept or reject it. This is human nature. So here I want to talk today and the next time I'm here, about something or someone that we know, but we don't understand how we know him. And not to make it a secret, I want to talk about one of the most esteemed Anbiya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's Ibrahiem alayhi wa sallam. And the reason I want to talk about it, because on September 1st, as you know, inshallah, we will have Eid al-Adha. Now, we will do Eid al-Adha, and we will engage in ceremony. Now, it's a ceremony, because we're going to make prayer, we're going to eat, and some of us, inshallah, we have the means. Inshallah, we're going to go out and slaughter animals. Now, if you have the means. And you're going to do what? You're going to take part of that meat for yourself, part you're going to give to your neighbor, and part you're going to make a feast. You're going to have a food, ta'am. You're going to have provisions for everybody, if you have the means. But many of us, Muslims, do not know the Prophet Ibrahiem alayhi wasallam beyond the event that makes it Eid al-Adha. And that is the sacrifice, or the sacrifice, and it was the sacrifice of his son Ishmael alayhi wasallam. And from that point, then we start talking about Ibrahiem alayhi wasallam and Ishmael. Ishmael staying in Arabia, his mother and the thing with Zamzam. We know this story. We know this part. We know this part going this way. It's like if you go to the movies, half the movie. We came in late. We don't know the beginning of the movie. And some of us, in our studies, even know about Ibrahiem alayhi salam being in the fire. Now we know about him being in the fire, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala causing the fire to be cool. We're going to talk about that next time. And why is that so profound? Many of us know the part when he told his father about the statues. We know that part. But here I'm going to show you some things that you may not know. I'm going to start with the 2 ayats. We have many ayats in the Quran about the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi wasalam. Many. But I'm going to give you 2 today. And I'm going to show you how they're connected to Ibrahim alayhi wasalam and why he was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as his Khalil. Huh? His friend. The first ayah. فَأَنَّهُمْ أَدَاوٌ لِي إِلَىٰ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Now he's saying this to his father and his friends. His fathers are gathered around. Terah is his father. No?
Azar.
No, Terah. See, you thought, that's the name we have. See, you didn't know. Allahu Akbar. So sometimes you got to know the whole. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
You may know something, but you don't understand what you know.
Right.
So Terah, he's saying this to his friends. He's around his friends, and they're talking about the statue. He's the builder of the statues. And Ibrahim alayhi salam is saying to them, because he's making an argument, why are you worshiping these things? And then his argument is, for they, towards the meaning of this ayah, for they are enemies to me. Not so the Lord and cherisher of the worlds. This is the first. I'm only going to give you 2 today. Here's Ibrahim alayhi salam with no book. There's no book. There's no reference. And he talks to his father and those who were around his father, that he's talking about these statues, who he was around, who he sees his father does and his people, the people of earth. They're worshiping these statues. And he says, they are an enemy to me, not so the Lord. Rather, he's talking about the Lord and the cherisher of the worlds. And look at the next ayah. الَّذِي خَلَقَنِي فَهُوَ يَهْدِينِ. Who created me, and it is he who guides me. This is very profound because his father, I'm going to tell you why this is profound, the first part. He who created me, because why? His father is under the belief that he has created Ibrahim alayhi salam. And, as the story goes, Tahar, you know he had 3 sons. Ibrahim had 2 brothers. The brothers' names were, let me get the names. Nahar, that's the brother, and Haran. And Haran, as you know, the father of Lot. So we're going to talk about Lot later on, now. So Terah, he was in the court of Nimrod. This is how the story goes. He was in the court of Nimrod. He was very close to Nimrod. And one night, the astrologers for Nimrod was in Terah's house. And they looked up at the night sky and they saw this bright star. And they said to Terah, your son, Abram, he wasn't the Ham yet. Abram is going to be not only a chief, right? He's not even going to be a chief of the nation, but he's going to be a father of the nation. This is very important. This is what the astrologers told Ibrahim's father, that not only will Ibrahim, according to what they saw in the sky, this is their belief, that he would not only be a chief, but a father. And we know Ibrahim alayhi salam is called, he's the father of monotheism. He is the father of the one God, the one belief. Monotheism. I hope I say it right. I have to get that theism right. So what happened? Listen to this story. Nimrod was told of this. The astrologers went back to Nimrod. And they said, listen, this is the sign that we saw. Nimrod became fearful. He became apprehensive that this newborn, Ibrahim, or Abram, would outdo him once he gets grown. So he told Terah, go and get your son and bring him to me. going to do? Don't do this. Be merciful. He said, no, get your son. So what he did, he didn't go and get his son. He got a slave son. He went and got a slave son, brought it to Nimrod, and Nimrod killed this baby, this newborn, with his bare hands. So Terah, he sees this. He says, hold on a second, I have to do something. So what did he do? He took Ibrahim alayhi wasalam, and he took him and put him in a cave. The newborn, he took him to a cave and he left him in his cave. He was caring for him in the cave, but he didn't bring him back to the city. And Ibrahim alayhi wasalam stayed in that cave for 10 years. 10 years he stayed in that cave. Not complaining, not knowing the circumstance. He stayed there. And what happened? During that time, Ibrahim alayhi wasalam, he starts noticing things. He starts noticing that the night and day alternated. And that one will not outshadow the other. He noticed that the moon and the sun were disciplined. And he thought, through his analysis, there must be something more powerful than what he was observing. He concluded that there must be a higher being that regulates the day and night, the sun and moon. So what did he stayed there. And after that, he didn't go back home right away. He went to stay with Noah. SubhanAllah. And Shem. He went to stay with them. And Noah and Shem started teaching him the aspects of Tawheed. Isn't that amazing? So he gets back to his family, gets back to his father. When he sees his father engaged in idol making, when he sees this, he already has a concrete understanding. Remember, he had knowledge before. Now he has understanding that what his father was doing and what his people were engaged in was wrong. So he says, who created me, alladhi khalaqani fahuwa yahdeen. He says, who created me, and it is he who guides me. So Ibrahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed with this understanding very early on. Again, no books, no guide, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him, and how Allah guided him, he took Ibrahim alayhi salam through an ordeal that many of us could not be able to bear. He took Ibrahim alayhi salam being what? Being looked upon as a menace to who? The powers that be, Nimrod. That he was being fearful, and that he had to escape. And his escape was not to something luxury. It wasn't to a comfortable place. He was in a cave for 10 years. Sacrifice. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. أَوَالٌ يَرَوْا كَيْفَ يَبْلِدُوا لَهُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يَعِيدُهُ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِّرٌ. This is Surah Al-Anqabah. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. He says, towards the meaning, see they not how Allah originates creation, then repeats it. Truly, that is easy for Allah. See they not how Allah originates creation, then repeats it. Truly, that is easy for Allah. And the next ayat that I want to tie to this is the next ayat. He, Allah, created the heavens without any pillars that you can see. He set on the earth mountains standing firm, lest it should shake with you. And he scattered through it beasts of all kinds. We send down rain from the sky and produce on the earth every type of noble creature in pairs. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these two ayats, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us an example of how our spiritual self, now their faith is not just contained in what you have in your hand, now what you possess, but your faith is also resounding both in the heavens, right? In the heavens, and in His creation, in Allah's creation. And when Allah is talking about His creation, He doesn't limit it to even to what we can see as tangible creation, but He broadens it. And He gives us an inclination that your faith in Him, our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not only in what we have in our limited resources or our surroundings, but it encompasses everything. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. He's created everything, and He has His due portion. Ibrahiem alayhi wasalam knew this as a child. Imagine us. Think about it a second. Here we've been gifted with a book. We've been gifted with guidance from who? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibrahim alayhi salam did not have another prophet, even though his father, Terah was what? He's the 9th generation from Noah. So Ibrahim is the 10th. So he didn't go and confer with Noah at first. No? He did this out of his own initiative. He did this out of his own analysis. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted us with. When we read the Quran, when we embrace the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we must take the Quran, the ayahs of the Quran, and the Sunnah, and then bring it into its broader spectrum, and that is of all creation. Remember I said this before. People believe, Muslims believe, talking about the Sunnah. They believe this, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is their prophet only. Even though Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he is what? He is a messenger for what? All mankind. But we want to do what? We want to, one of the brothers talking about this, we want to do a gangster. We do a gangster move. We do a gangster move on our religion. We do a gangster move on the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We think that it's only for us. And thus, when it's time for us to share this as a da'i, as one who is given the dawah, we have limitations. We bring our own limitations. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to share it. Co-workers, friends, family. So, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah. I'm bringing these things up, inshallah, because one of the things I'm sure you notice as I do, especially in America, especially in certain parts of America, when it comes to our holidays, Jumu'ah, September 1st, no? This is a holiday, holy day. I'm not going to use the word appropriately. It's holy day. No? We treat it like any other day. And we treat the reason why we are celebrating this like it's a thing on the back burner. It's a thing that doesn't have any relevance, doesn't have as much relevance as it should have, very much importance. Don't you find it strange? I'm going to leave. That we're so flattered by the Westerners and their holidays and their false reasoning, their lies. They surround their holidays with lies. And yet, we embrace some of them. Muslims embrace some of them because they say it's no harm. But here comes something like Eid al-Adha, September 1st. It's going to be on Friday. Now, I wonder, I don't know. How ceremonial will we be on that day? We're going to talk about the sacrifice of Ibrahiem. That's right, it's profound. Of his son. And we know that his son is progenitor of what happens to us, what? In Islam. We know that. His son stays in Arabia. The water that you drink, Zamzam, we know that where it comes from. Hagar, we know that. But how are we going to feel? I don't want us just to have that cliches on Eid al-Adha. You know, you're after the kuffar, you go and embrace the brother, you know, and you say, you know, you say all this stuff here. But then we get right, we say, oh, I'm glad that some of us, I don't know. Some of us, not all of us. I'm glad that prayer is over. Early in the morning, 9 o'clock. I have things to do. I love the fact that some communities, they go to the park. They say, oh no, that's crazy. Why are they going to great adventures and renting the whole place? Alhamdulillah! All the Muslims, they rent the whole place. Oh, you're not listening to me, I know it. They rent the whole place for the Muslims. They go in the park and they bring food. Prospect Park down in Brooklyn, they bring food and they stay there all day long. Celebrating what? Eid al-Adha. And I love the fact, you should too, that some of the brothers are so conscious about this. And Ibrahiem alayhi salam, we're going to talk more of that next time, about the sacrifice. What do? They can go and get some meat at the halal store. But what do? They get their monies together. They find a vendor that they can go to that farm and slaughter an animal. Bismillah. And practice that sunnah, practice that event, and share the meat. Cut it up, bag it up. Engage in it. I love that fact. That's something that we should be so conscious of. Why? I'm going to tell you another thing you probably don't know. It's a secret. It's a secret. Some brothers say a secret. Don't get out of here. You know Ibrahiem alayhi salam and his son Ishmael, huh? When you make Hajj, huh? You're making Hajj. Many of the ceremonies of Hajj is from Ibrahiem alayhi salam. And the building of the Kaaba, Ibrahiem alayhi salam. But we treat him like we shouldn't know about him. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was so engaged with Ibrahiem alayhi salam. He loved Ibrahiem alayhi salam. Even though the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and neither you or I know when Ibrahiem alayhi salam existed on earth. There's no date. I'm just trying to make a point. So September 1st, get ready for it. It's a Friday. It's a double holiday. Subhanallah. You got Eid al-Adha and Jumu'ah. Jumu'ah is a holiday. Subhanallah. So maybe what we should do, I don't know. Maybe we should celebrate it. What do you think? I don't know. You like giving gifts? Give me a gift. What the heck? Give somebody a gift. Give your loved ones a gift. Your wife, your children. Take them out for ice cream. Oh Lord, we ask you at this moment not to let sin go unforgiven, a distress unrelieved, an illness unhealed, nor a handicap without relief, nor allow death without your mercy. Oh Lord, guide those who have gone astray from your prescribed existence, those who proudly proclaim themselves as your enemy. Accept from us our sincere repentance, deny us access to the evil ones and their evil. Oh Allah, purify our hearts, cover our defects, forgive our sins, and let the last of our deeds be the best. Hakim and Sadiq.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Kakamatu salah, kakamatu salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Let's go. I want to remind the brothers of the Sadaqah box in the back. Also, there's classes this weekend, inshallah. I think the Sheikh is online tomorrow. And Sunday morning we have class, inshallah, after Fajr. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وتنزل قدم بقدم واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنسهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون لو أنزلنا القرآن جبلا لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله خالق البارئ المصور له أسماء حسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله Allah. 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 Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim, ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. Allah. 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 السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله. لا إله
This weekend?
Yeah, yes, I think it's up to you.
Saturday or Sunday?
But we're going to meet Sunday morning.